Hello, and welcome. Thank you for everyone for joining us. Hope you're having a fabulous day wherever you are. Evening if you're in cold England, morning if you're in Australia, and no doubt some other part of the day somewhere else. Luke, how are you going? Sitting there in the dark.
Right, it's nighttime.
It's not. It's. We had this discussion before. Look through my door. It's clearly daytime. Clearly.
You're trying to suggest we live on some kind of globe.
Come on, man. The sun circles round us, didn't you know? And oh my God, that intro, every time I play it, it annoys the crap out of me because the pictures are just off beat. And so I'm going to have to redo it. It's very annoying. So there you go. Hello to everyone. Hello, Daryl. Who have we got here? Oh, no, Luke. Oh,
yeah, I am.
Luann Mainwaring, hello. Cheech McDuck, hello. Sherry Ives, good to see you. Daryl, hello. Holistic Media. I just saw that the very end, you just had a watch party. So go and subscribe to Holistic Media. She does little watch parties about different creators, which are fun. Hello, Sage. Cheech McDuck, did I say that? Rescue Freedom. Who else we got here? Lunchbox. Hello, Lunchbox. Silver Sage, much. Sunny.
Disappearing. Oh, no, he's back.
John Fletcher. Am I back? Yes, and the Flash.
Just
so anyway, and everyone who I haven't that I missed, and yes, so the reason we're a little bit late is I forgot to pay my phone bill, and I normally stream off my phone because my internet from Elon Musk is so crappy. So if I flick out and freeze out, Luke will take over and entertain you. But I'll try and reconnect on my phone in a few minutes. It obviously takes a while to do whatever they need to do. Talk to their electronicness. So, Luke, what are we going to talk about? What are we covering here today?
Well, I think we've got a few things, haven't we? The first one, which pretty quick, I reckon, is the Mexican aliens. I don't know if
man. Mexican
up to date on the Mexican aliens. Yeah, it's quite an interesting one, this. So I mean, the funny thing is about it, it's only just come really to the media's attention because obviously what's happened with the Mexican government, they had some kind of UFO talk like they do in Congress, and this guy, this ufologist and journalist, I think it's Javier Mausin or something like that, he brought these from Peru. And it's quite funny actually because Peru turned around when they saw this and they were like, those are our mummies. And they were like, I thought they were in the back. And they go and check and they found that somebody has sold these mummies to this guy without telling anyone. So they're now angry and saying that they're trying to sue to get their bodies back. So, I mean, I don't know. Do you have any images of the actual things?
Oh, shit.
Maybe you can... I do. The one thing I do have, I've got a video that I can show, which I don't know how sound works though on this, because last time I tried doing this, I couldn't get sound to work. But if it does work, I can show this video that supposedly debunks it.
Why has it got talking as it, or?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it has talking over this, like very imperative to the video. You know, without that, we're just watching just anything. Just but
all right.
So I've got some facts about it that are quite interesting. So originally, it was found in 2017 in Nascar, Peru, near the Nascar lines. And one of the things that is quite dubious about it, though, is I don't know if you've heard about Gaia. You know, Gaia on YouTube, and they've got Gaia.
Oh, like
they were heavily involved in the original dig for this, and they showed videos of it, of the unearthing. So that in itself I found quite suspicious, because obviously Gaia is a drop my headphone. Gaia is a streaming service, basically. You know, it's online membership. I think you pay something like $100 a month, a year, you know, for a subscription access. So obviously they're going to want this sensational stuff to get you in. And I found that kind of interesting because as well, this Mausin guy in 2015, he revealed that he'd found a alien mummified body at an event called Be Witness, which was funded by Gaia, this event. And he showed this mummified alien body, and it later turned out to just be a human child. So that was quite embarrassing.
So this is Yeah, this is the same guy. He's been done for scamming basically before, hasn't he?
Yeah, so that was 2015 when he did this event. He came out and he was like, I found an alien body. And they were like, oh, okay. And they tested it. And the best bit is one of this scientist called Jose Benitez. He was at both of these events. So he was a discoverer of this 2017 mummy. And he was also one of the scientists who was at the Bee Witness event. And he was claiming straight up that it was definitely an alien. And then obviously it turned out to be a human child. So that was kind of embarrassing for him. So, but he says that this new one is definitely not human because it's got 3 fingers. He says that in the video when they unearth it. He goes, look, 3 fingers, can't be human. It's like, okay. But
check out the head on it, man. Do you see the head? Like, so this is it, the 3 fingers. To me, it looks like a statue. But anyway, they're saying it's a mummy. But check out the head here, right? Does that head look familiar to all us? Maybe old. Where's there a side view of it there?
In the debunk video, that is quite interesting because the mad thing is about this debunk video I'm going to show you was originally put up in 2021 because obviously these things were discovered in Peru 2017. There was a big deal about it. Then people seemed to debunk it in 2021, and then this guy's got hold of them and he's taken them to Mexico, and the Mexicans have been like, right, sweet. But I mean, I can't remember who it was about. I've heard that one of the top Mexican people believes in witches and thinks that he can read people's emotions. So I don't know how much you want to. I think he was one of those guys that believes in fairies as well, saying that the fairy people are real. So he kind of really wants to believe. But
is he Mulder?
So we'll have a look at that. Go on.
Sorry, is he Mulder? Fox Mulder? He wants to believe.
Yeah.
And wasn't that good predictive programming? Like this thing I was thinking the other day.
Has he gone? He's disappeared for a second. We'll just wait it out. I'm sure he'll be back. I think this is the moment where I'm supposed to do juggling. But I can't juggle. So he just looks confused. Look at him. Like he's thinking really hard. Come on, Cam. You can do it. Well, anyway, I guess I'll just talk.
Okay. Yeah, just talk. I'm just going to try and switch over to my phone again. So talk and entertain the folks, and I'll be back in a minute.
Talk and entertain. Oh, well, you know what? You could have given me the present thing then.
Oh, how do I do that? How do I let you present?
Do that. Let me wait 1 sec. Let me share my entire screen 2, share system.
I'm sorry about my morning hair, everyone. God, I washed it yesterday, and it's just takes on a life of its own, I tell you. You can just there you go. Alrighty, I'll be back.
Sweet. So I'll just play this video for you guys. If I can move this thing out my way. There we go. So hopefully you can hear this audio because last time I did this, I couldn't get the audio to work.
So what do we see? Same stuff. A hodgepodge of human and animal bones. Here's a mummy named Josephine. A real beauty. Instead of humeri, she sports femurs or thigh bones. Her legs are even more baffling. One of the thigh bones is actually a femur, only facing the wrong way around, while the other one is a tibia. And they are completely mismatched. With the hip bone, there's no joint there at all. The poor humanoid wouldn't have made a single step. Some of the bones are simply chopped off. Note this asymmetry here. The fingers are a total mess too. The first pseudophalanges are facing in different directions on her left and right hands, with the white part facing up or down. Well, they just forgot to turn them the right way. Stuff happens. And look at this alien head. French paleontologist Julien Benoit thinks that those who crafted the small humanoid mummies used skulls of some small mammals for their heads, such as a llama or alpaca. Comparison shows that the reptiloid's cranial cavity fits perfectly the cranial cavity of a llama. The location of the olfactory bulbs, the inner ear, the brain hemispheres, and the cerebellum precisely matches those in a llama skull. The whole facial part of the skull was broken off, leaving only the brain case. The skull was then rotated so its back part faces forward. The reptiloid's face is actually the back of the poor llama's head. Paleontologist Rodolfo Salas Gismondi is of the same opinion.
Right. So, what do people think about that? Is it? I'm going to mute the sound on it so we can go back through. And what do we think to this? Because in Mexico last week, we had reports that scientists were doing tests, and somebody claimed via X-ray that this was not constructed and that it was actually a full skeleton. But I don't believe that, because as you can tell, some of these things just look too kind of mismatched, and this walking animation, you can see the guy who had a bit of issues. Yeah, so you missed the video. I've got it
What
up
are we
running
looking
on
at? Yeah,
silent now.
yeah. Is this the alien, is it?
Yeah, I could play it again for you if you want.
He's got hip dysplasia, man.
Right. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll put the sound on so you can hear it again. Sorry for everyone that's already seen it. But...
Same stuff. A hodgepodge of human and animal bones. Here's a mummy named Josephine. A real beauty. Instead of humeri, she sports femurs, or thigh bones. Her legs are even more baffling. One of the thigh bones is actually a femur, only facing the wrong way around, while the other one is a tibia. And they are completely mismatched. With the hip bone, there's no joint there at all. The poor humanoid wouldn't have made a single step. Some of the bones are simply chopped off. Note this asymmetry here. The fingers are a total mess too. The first pseudophalanges are facing in different directions on her left and right hands, with the white part facing up or down. Well, they just forgot to turn them the right way. Stuff happens. And look at this alien head. French paleontologist Julien Benoit thinks that those who crafted the small humanoid mummies used skulls of some small mammals for their heads, such as a llama or alpaca. Comparison shows that the reptiloid's cranial cavity fits perfectly the cranial cavity of a llama. The location of the olfactory bulbs, the inner ear, the brain hemispheres, and the cerebellum precisely matches those in a llama skull. The whole facial part of the skull was broken off, leaving only the brain case. The skull was then rotated so its back part faces forward. The reptiloid's face is actually the back of the poor llama's head. Paleontologist Rodolfo Salas Gismondi is of the same opinion.
So yeah, the end of it. And what do you think to that?
That's for someone to go to that much trouble and then to stuff it all up so badly is like a bit weird. Right.
Well, what's interesting is that according to Mexico's National Autonomous University, this thing carbon dates to 1,000 years old. So there is a chance that it is actually a 1,000-year-old prank and that somebody was burying it. And they were like, Timaeus, what are you doing? And he's like, trust me, this will be really funny in 1,000 years.
Could be. And the other thing is, like, didn't they have like big aliens in Peru like only a month ago? Did you see that? There were all these reports coming out, and I think there was video of it. But that was supposed to be
the one where there was like gunshots
tall.
and stuff in the woods.
I think there was, that might have been one of them. There was a few different ones of them coming in, and someone saw them outside his window, but they were tall. They weren't these tiny things. So, I mean, they're pushing the agenda, right? They're definitely pushing the alien agenda at the moment. A whole blue beam.
And I don't know what's going on with Mexico because this thing's apparently undergoing more tests, and scientists confirmed, so I don't know which scientists, might be very selective, but via X-ray, that it isn't actually patched together as suggested by this video, and they say that it is one skeleton. So that's quite interesting, but that's just things being reported in newspapers, as you know, and then this is from 2021. So I don't know why the media is suddenly picked up on all this stuff without pointing out, oh, by the way, in 2021, they already did all this. But
it's just, I don't know, it's becoming very blatant at the moment that they're pushing an agenda, I think. with all this stuff, because we had the dude like all. Don't know who.
Oh, is he going? I think he might be gone. Yeah, once again, he just looks really confused. Yeah. He's just stuck in a reaction pose.
Yeah,
oh, he's back.
so
There we go.
My internet change didn't work. Like I said,
Yeah.
I paid my phone bill late. I didn't realize I didn't pay it. So I have paid it, but I'm waiting for them.
Look at that. He's being cancelled. Cancelled as we watch.
Geez, see? God, I'm so oppressed, man.
This is because he didn't pay for Twitter Blue. And Elon was like, right, knocking you down to the peasant
Twitter.
level of internet. Wow. But yeah, anyway, so what do you guys think of all this stuff? I'm having a look at the comments. So what do you guys think? Is it fake? Is it real? Oh, he's back.
Yeah. I mean, it looks fake, but this is the thing, like every one, these come out like, you know, every 5 years.
He's gone again. Maybe if I stop playing the video, his internet will improve. You know, maybe we're bottlenecking it. So yeah, if you want to check that video out for yourself, that's
right,
the title. It's on Reddit. This one. Hey, he's back. There we go. I'm getting really confused. I'm using two monitors, so then I see my mouse on this screen, but it's actually on this screen. So there we go.
I'm very confused too.
Anyway, yeah, so, you're back. So carry on.
This is the tiny corpses, like the little ones that have just been presented, were debunked in 2021.
Yeah, so the ones that we're seeing now in Mexico, they come from Peru, discovered in 2017 and seemingly debunked back in 2021 with all this stuff showing. And
now put out on the world stage as true, right? Like this is what they're trying to push, basically. It's weird. It's almost like they're putting it out there. Yeah, well, it almost feels like they're putting it out there, and if you just take it at face value and believe it, well, you're going to believe it. But if you just scratch the surface a bit, you'll find out it's all crap. I mean, that's what it feels like at the moment. It's really weird.
Well, I guess it's plausible deniability, isn't it? Because then they can be like, oh, well, we didn't know it was all bullshit. You know, it's an easy mistake to make instead of it seeing as nefarious, you know. Well, yeah. I mean, when you've got people that have tried it, like you say, in 2015, but then again, you could say it the opposite way. Maybe they're using things like 2015 to say, oh, you can't listen to this guy, this ufologist. You know, look at him. He's already made mistakes. Because you don't know, do you? Is he honestly doing this, knowing full well that he's lying? Like, or did he genuinely believe in 2015 that he'd found a mummified alien, but then it just turned out to be a child? Or did he actually know and he's like, let's see if we can get away with this? Or is he just an idiot? You know what I mean? Are people just selling him stuff? Is he getting phone calls from Egypt? Like, yeah, we found another alien, mate. Do you want it?
You know? Well, I mean, there's a lot of money to be made in this kind of stuff as well, right? At the moment with social media, if you can get anything to go viral, you can make a lot of money, and it doesn't have to be true. And you know, I think we see this all over the internet, right? Is people will just put stuff out just to get views, right? Just for the likes, man.
Well, it's the clickbait, isn't it? For the advertisements. Yeah. You get it on Twitter at the moment. You know, you've got this entire branch of people. They're usually the more right-wing commentators, but their entire shtick is to say the most offensive thing possible, so that both sides come in. One side defending, the other side saying, you know, oh, you're a horrible person. And then as far as he's concerned, he's loving it because he's getting paid. You know, he's getting paid for these clicks. And
exactly, there's literally channels, that are built on that just to trigger people, so that people share it around and get triggered, and then they just sit there laughing, going, Thanks for the cash, guys.
Reddit is exactly the same at the moment. It never used to be this bad, but it's gone down the pan in this way, because if you scroll now through your feed, you'll notice that everything it's rage bait, and it's also divisive. So there's lots of men versus women stuff. You know, you'll get if you're a dude, you'll be getting posts that are screenshots of a woman who is clearly a dickhead, right, saying dickhead stuff, but then they're trying to use it to incite this kind of men versus women mentality, make the men think the women are against them, make the women think the men are against them. Same thing with race. You know, they're always pumping up race stuff, try and make, you know, white people be hated by as many people as possible, and then make white people hate as many people as possible. It's kind of all over the place. That's their job, is to make sure that we never wake up and realize that the true enemy is sat on their yacht laughing right now.
Yeah. Especially with the male female thing, I'm like, God, that's just really being pushed. You know, like you said, like the guys that they push, you know, women are crazy, and to the girls they push, you know, that all men are bad, right, and substandard and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, I don't know. I guess people are buying into it, but I think a lot of people also use it, like we've said, for rage bait. But they're just making it worse and worse, and they're just sort of laughing because of money. But it's not a good way to go forward, is it? Because, you know, I'm seeing it as well in, you know, the whole, you know, MAGA kind of movement, how all these people have come up through that movement and are now celebrities, right? You know, have you heard of that, you know, Matt Walsh, who did that video, What is a Woman, or whatever it was called? Yeah. And now he's like this big sort of celebrity. And I saw the other day he's doing Dancing with the Stars. So he's literally, like moving into this Hollywood, you know, entertainment section that he spends his whole time telling us he's evil. And so now that it's going to create all this division, and all the MAGA are going to be divisive. And they're doing it as well with, like with the election, right? Putting up all these different people against Trump. And it's all just because people were getting united. They're like, oh, holy crap, man, we better stop this.
Well, yeah, I think as well what they've done with the Trump stuff is, before Trump, on the left in particular, you had a lot of people that were saying, fuck Joe Biden because he's basically right wing, and I want to vote for someone like Bernie Sanders. So what they have to do is they have to create somebody so bad on the right that you don't dare vote for anyone except Joe Biden, because you got to defeat the evil man, you know what I mean? So by doing that, like I saw again on Reddit today, a post basically saying, you know, we all need to get out behind Joe Biden to defeat Trump. And it's like, yeah, but Joe's a bit of a dick as well, isn't he? Like, so you're forced with this two-party system to basically go for one or the other, when neither of them actually reflect your values, what you want. None of them are going to do what you want. But they have you convinced that the other dude is going to be terrible, so you'll vote anyway.
That's a good point, right? I mean, they all, you know, we know, right? Everyone works for the same team in the end. You know, they've all got the same bosses, but they put out this thing of there is choice, but they're just hyper-focusing people on, like you said, this is all you've got. Is it going to be Trump, or is it going to be Biden? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Is it going to be communist? Is it going to be freedom, you know, kind of thing? And so no one's thinking of any different solutions, like, well, maybe we don't need any of these criminals like up there, like maybe we can maybe there's another option, right? Maybe there's a fork in the road, a third sort of way we can go. But yeah, man, it's this thing that they've been pushing, and it's you know, people think that they're watching truth or something because it's not on the TV, it's on the internet. But I mean, come on, the media has taken over the internet long before we sort of started putting our stuff up. So it's a weird situation we're in, but everyone's saying 2024 will be a bit more progressive. So I'm hoping for the future, man. It's all I got.
You just know that now you've said that, like a nuke's going to go off or something. The minute 2024 ticks over.
Yeah, well, but, everyone was talking about the 27th of this month, saying something was going to happen. And no, 23rd, sorry, I think it was. Nothing happened. And now everyone's saying the 4th of October, they're going to send some signal through your cell phone, and it's going to reset all this stuff and make people go crazy. And, you know, we get all these things, right? But nothing ever happens. Have you ever noticed that? Yeah, the world still hasn't ended, right? And how many people were telling us it was going to end, and, you know, 2012 and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. But really, the more we get into this, it looks like it's just a story, which it is, right? It's just a story on the media presented to us, and they present it as fact, as like it's already happened. But what it is it hasn't. That's what they want. to happen is what they're projecting. And if we believe it, we create it. I mean, I think that's the scam here.
But yeah, so do you want to move on anyway to the other things we were going to talk about? So we've got the structure, wooden structure, the 500K log.
The 500.
So I've got 500,000-year-old log. So I've got, if you want to
500,000-year-old log. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'll get up now. So where will we start with this? Right. So we'll start setting the scene. Can you see that?
Yes. Oh,
yeah,
that's
sweet.
almost looks
So
a bit
this
rude.
is what are you looking at? Right. Anyway, yeah. So this is Kalambo Falls, and near Kalambo Falls, they've found a lot of very, very old stuff. So I'll bring up a diagram of this area. It loves to do this, but yeah. So this is where we're looking at. This is the falls where we just were there, and this is the section of the river where they've been finding loads of stuff. So this refers to dig sites. So not too important, but I just wanted to give everyone a view of where they found this. So what they actually found, and again, this is something. Yeah, this is on the border of Tanzania and Zambia, right in the middle of Africa. I'll show you a picture of where it is. Right. So this is just about where it is in Africa, and this is the falls that we saw this side of, and this is the river at the top. So these are where a load of this stuff has been discovered, a view here. And the oldest thing that they found, they've dated this. And again, this was something that was found a few years ago. I can't remember exactly. I think it's 2019 when this was actually discovered. So it just shows that it's just hitting the news now to distract us probably from something. But it nonetheless is very interesting because according to their carbon dating of the sediment that this is encased in, so because obviously carbon dating only lasts about 50,000 years, 60,000 years ago at most is like what you can measure up to. So they used something called luminescence dating on the crystalline structures in the rock that surrounded this stuff. And they do that by checking basically how many electrons are going nuts and they're trapped inside there. So they haven't seen light. It's basically testing when the last time this thing saw light. And that's based on these trapped electrons. So this is a view of them where they started digging. I'll bring up as many images of what they were finding. So this is wood here, and they found interlocking wood that's been dated to about 476,000 years ago. So that's way before humans, modern humans were here. And it basically blows what we considered of our like human history out of the water, because we've constantly said to people, no, we were just nomadic. We walked around. We didn't build structures. And this proves that, in fact, they did, because this was some kind of walkway, a wooden walkway or something, either to keep them higher than the water, keep them dry, or to keep their food dry and stuff. Yeah, possibly. And I've got some more pictures of stuff that's
obviously based on if the science dating is correct. They've dated it through
luminescence dating. So
luminescence dating.
Yeah, so it measures the amounts of unstable trapped electrons that are in the crystalline structure of the sediment, and that gives them the date. So obviously, like you say, it's still just a number. You don't know how accurate that is. So this is just a view of the falls. But however, still a very, very long time ago.
Even if it's 10 or 20,000 years, it still blows their narrative out of the water, right?
Well, this, absolutely insane. So I'll show you some of the tools that were found there. So they found stoneworking tools on this wood, basically. And if I click that, so this actually shows you down here where on which sites they were found. So when I showed you that picture that said the BLBs around the river, this shows where it actually came from. So
there's stone tools.
Like this, so you can see where these things were actually found there. And right, yeah, what were you going to say?
They're supposed to be stone tools, yeah?
No, these are wooden objects. So this is
they're petrified wood.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the wood that survived, and this is the interesting thing. So wood never survives this long, and they've said that the reason that it has survived, or Jeff Duller said that the reason is because a fine layer of sediment has encased and protect the wood. So basically, maybe a kind of mud flood. Yeah, a kind of mud flood has captured it with a really nice fine layer of sediment, which has preserved it and kept it safe from the oxygenation and stuff. So
yeah, but I mean, this is the other thing is petrification, right? They tell us that it takes, you know, hundreds or thousands of years to petrify things, which is crap. That's provably not true. You know, we have Mother Shipton's Cave where they hang things under the water and they're petrified within months. So it's all to do with the mineral content of the water. So, but yeah, just as a side note, but basically, so when it's encapsulated in water and mud, it'll petrify a lot quicker because the minerals will be exchanged with, you know, from the water to the wood.
Yeah, exactly. And well, this is the oldest surviving wood, obviously, that they've found that's been used structurally like this. I mean, they didn't even think that. I mean, the people that were supposedly created this was a species or ancestor of human, which is called Homo. I think it's Heidelbergensis? Yeah. So Homo heidelbergensis. It's named after Heidelberg in Germany, where the first ones were found.
Yeah, like Heidelberg man, I think they call it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And you can see the structural elements here. So this, you know, these aren't just small. These are a big walkway that these guys had, which shows that they were living, you know, we don't actually know what they were living. They could have been living in stone because we still use wood to today. It doesn't mean that we don't use stone. Just because they're finding wood doesn't mean that they weren't using stone of some type. And we're going to go into actually the Stone Age a bit more after this.
Stone Age.
Let's see what other pictures we got.
Is that like that's the Neolithic age, right? That probably has happened a lot, right? It's probably like a post-reset age is what the Stone Age is.
Well, yeah, Stone Age is essentially when people just turn around and go, actually, this stone is way better than this wood. Let's use this instead. And then you enter the Stone Age. But I mean, the thing is, these guys were using stone tools. So I mean, stone tools have been around for at least 500,000 years by this, and that's incredible. Because, like you say, how have humans and all the species of humans just been around doing all this stuff, and then it's like in the past few thousand years, somebody just slapped us and went, "You guys need to make computers."
Yeah.
Because
it's because we're at the epitome of mankind, didn't you know?
Well, exactly. So the next thing, so we'll have a look at what these guys were. So this is one of the hand axes. It wasn't found at the site. This is actually from Boxgrove in England. But this is, if you've ever played a game like Ark or something, you'll recognize this as like your primitive axe. You know, would have had a wooden handle. Yeah.
So that flint, is that what they call it? Like they used to use flint, didn't they? That's why they could scallop it and make it sharp. Yep.
Yeah. So this, I'm not sure of the exact age of this, but it will be similar because obviously Homo heidelbergensis were walking the land a couple 100,000 years ago. And we'll see now a view of one of the skulls. So this is called Magellan, who's found in Spain. And
sorry.
Right. He's been dated to 430,000 years ago. So this is a cast of the skull. Not the actual skull itself.
Of course it's not the actual skull.
But yeah, this is the cast of the bloke. This is an elephant tibia that they found in Germany, which showed that they were it showed that they were again using stone tools, which at the time was a surprise because they hadn't located this wooden structure yet. So this is 350 to 400,000 years ago that they were cutting this elephant tibia with a stone.
How do they know that those cuts were made with stone?
I presume because stone's the only thing that would have been hard enough to cut it, because wood would.
Unless they had knives made of steel. But anyway. you know.
Right, yeah.
Not
Well,
like me to rip
it's at
apart
least
their narrative, is it?
no, don't worry. I just thought you meant that they might have been using wood, and I was like, I think they would have been dead after a while.
Wooden knives,
But,
man. Yeah, you just make them out of
yeah.
wood and then just hang them under some mineralized water for a few months, and you got a stone knife, mate.
This is a
done.
bust of one of their heads, imagining what they would have looked like.
Dude, like that looks like a monkey with a Roman nose.
You can't
Like,
say that about your
brown
ancestors. So
Am I being
rude, you
racist?
great grandpa. Well, technically, that is, you know, that's our race. Really, we'll be related. You know, after 1,000 years, you've had 1 trillion ancestors. So you're essentially, we're just one big family. But this is a reconstruction of what that dude would have looked like.
Oh my god, what's going on with his eyebrows?
He looks
They're trying
really surprised to be in a computer, doesn't he? Just like I was dead a second ago. Like, what the fuck's going on? But yeah, and this is a not safe for work image, so you cover your eyes. But yeah, this is
Wait, that's a bit rude, mate. God, it's Family Channel.
Sorry, yeah. Do you not have the automatic blur feature?
Yeah.
And this is obviously it doesn't have Homo heidelbergensis on this,
No.
but for height reference, they would have, according to what we have seen of their fossils, they would have been between the height of us two, so somewhere between here. And we'll get onto these guys as well at some point. But I don't think we'll do that today. There is another one we'll talk about, the Denisovans, because we're going to go over to the cave. But
so Neanderthals and Erectus are about the same size. I mean, it's interesting, and then we're smaller.
No, we're here. Neanderthals.
Sorry,
we're
we're the
smallest. Yeah. Could you not tell that? You must be really hairy, dude. I think he's gone. But yeah,
I'm back again. Sorry.
Yeah, so these guys, I think they were on average something like 5'6", 5'7" for Neanderthals. The Homo heidelbergensis were about 5'9".
So they're missing
Homo erectus. Go on.
They're missing out the taller ones. Like, we're clearly not the tallest. Beings that we found, but it's interesting.
I think the tallest, they call them something like Cro-Magnon or something.
That could be it. Yeah.
We'll have to go into them at some point.
And they were basically, depending on how you look at it, they could have been us under the vapor canopy, right? Where we get bigger. Because this is the
possibly.
thing. Like,
you can also see the Denisovans. There's a lot. We'll talk about the Denisovans. So you carry on, and I'll bring up the Denisovans in a bit.
No, you go, because I've got nothing to say.
Right. Okay. So we've got the Denisovans, which they seem to. There's a possibility that these guys were much bigger than they're telling us about. So we'll move on now to, because I think I've covered everything. So we'll move on to the Denisova Cave. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to bring up about the stuff. No. Okay. So yeah, we'll move on to the cave then. So this cave is quite important because it was discovered in, I want to say like the 1800s was when it first started getting named on a map, and the name behind it is actually really cool because this is where Denisovans come from. So let's get a picture of this cave up first. Right, so this is Denisova Cave. It's located in Russia. Do I have a map? I do. In Siberia. It is right there. So this is called the Altai Mountains. The Altai Mountains are quite famously connected to like the Tartarians and stuff. It's where a lot of these steppe people came from around these regions. And this could explain as well why we have this kind of idea of the Tartarians being bigger, because maybe they were connected to this other race. So in this cave here, was discovered the bodies of some new type of humans that they named the Denisovans. It's interesting because Denisovan, the name, you won't believe it, is named after a guy called Denis, but he was in the 18th century. So, seriously, in the 18th century, there was an old.
Did they find him in his oven? From Denis's oven?
Well, believe it or not, that the name Denis comes from the Latin name Dionysius, right? So if you're called Denis, you used to have a way cooler name, so that's a shame. But yeah, Dionysius, right? That is Dennis.
Or
It's the old
Dionysus
Latin
is how
version.
we say it, just in case people
Okay.
aren't getting what
Yeah,
you're saying.
Dionysus, Dennis. Yeah, okay. But we have in the 18th century this old hermit called an old believer, someone that used to who believed in the Eastern Orthodox Christianity before it was changed by the Patriarch Nikon of Moscow in 1652. So it was like an old version of Russian Christianity before this guy was like, no, we're having some changes around here. So this guy became a hermit and he lived in the cave in the 1700s. So they named the cave after him, the Denis Cave, or Denisova. Yeah, so when they
Where's
found bodies
Dennis?
in there,
Dennis over there, mate.
yeah, Dennis over there. And then when they named the bodies that were found in there, obviously they named it after the cave, so they're called Denisovans. And there's a really interesting that they're just basically the Dennis people.
The Dennis people, the people of Dennis.
Yeah. So what's great about this cave, what's really interesting about it, is that it's the only place on Earth where it's confirmed that humans, Neanderthals, and Denisovans all lived, and they probably lived there at the same time, because we don't talk about it much, but we lived around these species for hundreds of thousands of years, and they just we killed them. We killed them all eventually, and that's why it's quite funny, really, because there was a time when humans were part of multiple species, taller ones, smaller ones, Neanderthals. We were all fucking each other, and then at some point the humans decided to go a bit murdery. But go on.
Well, yeah, that's the story. Is that the real story? I mean, yeah, catastrophism, right? Were other things wiped out? Because pygmies too, right? I'm actually going to do a thing like we had pygmies in Australia, and they've disappeared since the 1960s. So there's clearly many different types of peoples.
I think it's very possible that these guys were still around a lot more recent than we're told. I mean, how do we know that they didn't go around searching for their bodies and getting rid of them?
Well, how do we know they're not Bigfoots, right? And they're just going from dimension to dimension, and every now and again one of them dies in this dimension, and it's like, oh.
Have you been watching Sassy by any chance?
Sassy? No, he's
Big
at that
cartoon.
about
because that's exactly what the Sasquatch does in Big Leisure. Yeah, literally time traveling, jumping through fucking multiple.
That's why he's the world champion at hide and seek.
So yeah, right. So we'll talk about some really interesting stuff here. So the first thing, actually, I'll come back to this because this is a bracelet, right? And actually, no, we'll just talk about it now. Fuck it. This bracelet was found, and it is this awesome kind of what's it called? Chlorostrolite, and it glows green when you shine light on it, like that, right?
Oh, cool.
And this thing can only be mined. It's not just lying around. You have to go into the earth to get this. So these guys had this. I'm not sure.
And it's shaped, is it? Looks like
it's not just shaped
or something.
It is. It's half a bracelet. It's got a drill here. This is 0.8 centimeters across, and it's been drilled. Yeah. So these guys were mining and drilling, 100% mining and drilling this stuff. I mean, I don't know what they use for the drill. It might be primitive, but it's 0.8 centimeters.
Well, 0.8 centimeters. God, that sounds very, technical, doesn't it? Like to get those kind of precise measurements, it's
just quite small, isn't it? It's
very small, yeah, man.
And then just to think, if you've got that bracelet and you're doing, filing away with it's, presumably it wasn't just an actual electric drill. He sat there just filing away. But it still shows. Can you imagine?
Is that even possible? Because when you get something that thin, you need the tensile strength, and especially when you're going through, I'm not sure how hard that rock is, but it's rock, some kind of rock or crystalline gem kind of thing. It's fairly hard, I would think. So the drill bit itself, I mean, we all know, right? You use a small drill bit, and just even going into wood, it's easy to snap them. So
exactly. And I think this is one of the most,
I would say.
It's one of the most impressive things that were found. So the other things that were found in there, just off the list that I've made, were Neanderthal tools, decorative bone, decorative objects which were made from bone, and also mammoth tusks. There was animal teeth, ostrich eggshells, fragments of this bracelet, which is it shows signs of being drilled, worked, and polished. And like I said, it's made of chloroastrolite, which is found only in the ground. You have to mine this. They also found other pendants, and they found a 7-centimeter sewing needle made of bird bone. So it's actually the oldest sewing needle they've ever found.
7 centimeters. Wow, it's pretty
Yeah,
small
so
too,
that
right?
that would have literally been for them sewing maybe baskets or clothes, weaving away. And that is, I don't have the exact age of that, but that's probably around 50,000 at least years ago. I think it was in the 50,000.
So-
But when it comes to organic dating, like I said earlier, it cuts off at about 50,000 BC. You can't tell if it's any older. So
how do they know we
you
had
can say-
dinosaurs? God, so the whole narrative's falling apart now.
Well, that's how they use other kind of dating methods for that. So yeah, you can't, for dinosaurs and stuff, you have to date the rock that it's found in. You know the layers of sediment. And that's another thing actually. So
Which is,
where did
I mean,
got
apart
something
from the
about
fact that
sediment.
there's no
Go on, carry
dinosaur bones on display anywhere, and they what was the story? They invented the name and the theory. I think it was in the 1880s, was it? And then literally the next year, the dude who invented the theory went out and found the first skeleton. Amazing.
He's like, there should be one somewhere. But we're not here to talk about the dinosaurs. We're here to talk about these guys. But yeah, so in this cave, they found 22 different layers of strata. So there's 22 layers of rock. So it's going back a long time. Whatever way you look at it. And I think the archaeological artifacts that they found are dating between 125,000 to 180,000 years old, and that's based on the sediment that they're found in. So the rock is literally formed around these objects in this cave.
Does, like, with sediment, like, I don't know, do you know this? Like, how are they dating sediment? Like, is it because once it's covered that it stops aging, or it stops releasing electrons or whatever?
I'm not an expert on this stuff. All I know is about luminescence, and I barely know anything about that. I know that that's one form that they use, like I said, to measure the when the last time this saw light. But I don't think that works in a cave.
Well, that's a very good point, right?
Yeah, because I think all stuff in a cave probably hasn't seen light in a while.
And I mean, sedimentary layers inside a cave as well, right? I mean, what does that mean? Like, were they all mud flows? They would have to be, like, to flow into the cave, right? It's not like
you've got things going on all the time, but I mean, I don't expect. I mean, I don't know how much layers formed in the in the past, but yeah, it's presumably mud and water and stuff that's dripping through, causing stuff like that. But and then you've also got stalactites and stuff that will be forming around. So I mean, this isn't my area really. But
I know. I have
if
questions.
we have a look at some of these, we have many questions.
When does one layer finish and the next one start? Right. This is the question.
That's the question. Well, yeah. I mean, we should get a geologist on next time, and we can both just look at him and be like, "Explain this, science man." But yeah, we have a look at some of these artifacts that we found. As you can see, lots of stone tools, which you can imagine things like this being attached to handles or even spears. And this is just another view of this cave entrance. So we saw inside there before, and we'll move on. This is, I think, next. Okay, no, we have more pictures. Okay, yeah. Right, get through these. This should show actually quite. So they're digging down into here. So this gives us a view of the sediment. So they've dug down into this bit. And I think if I get this image up, you can see what I'm talking about.
Is that a photo? Like, oh, it is. Okay, it looked like a little action man, but it is real people.
Yeah, these are real. So you can see how they've dug down into these sections of rock to find these things. It's literally buried in the rock.
So what if there was a mud flood and all this stuff was carried in there and just deposited sort of, willy-nilly?
I mean, it's possible. But the thing is, the stuff that it dates from is, it's there for 75,000 years at least, and then you've got stuff dating even 50,000 years ago. The cave has been used almost constantly. I mean, even until the 1700s, we've got Dennis living there, practicing his old Russian Christianity. Well, exactly.
So,
I wonder if Dennis left any. Maybe this is all Dennis's stuff. But
it could be. And have they examined like the ceiling, like for soot? Do they get soot layers? Because clearly, if they're in a cave, they're lighting fires, right? Unless they had electricity. I don't know. I'm very worried about all this dating stuff, especially carbon dating. But I don't know what the light electron thing is.
I'm checking. I've not got a dot in here, so I don't get the date wrong. But yeah, in 2019, a team from Novosibirsk, which is New Sibirsk, found a cave lion statue. So, and it was found it's 45,000 years old. It's a cave lion statue made from woolly mammoth tusks. And they found that in there. And it's actually the oldest figurine ever found. So, you think about it, if you've got any action figures, this is the oldest figurine ever. 45,000-year-old cave lion made from woolly mammoth tusk. So, we'll move on to...
I'm just going to try. I keep wigging out, so I'm just going to try and change internet again. Yes, so you keep talking. I'll be back.
Okay, I guess I'll keep juggling for a bit. Or we'll talk about you behind your back.
Oh, I heard that.
Yeah, so this is a deer tooth pendant, again, showing how they've drilled through this. I don't... I do have the age. This is 24,700 years old. So about 22,000 BC-ish. They think that is... So that's quite cool, isn't it? Making pendants out of deer teeth. And what's actually interesting, this bit is, we're going to have to make sure he's here for this bit because he'll want to talk about this. But what's interesting is that the cave itself isn't very high up. These guys were known for living quite high up. And, are you there? I can hear clicking. No? Is he gone? All right. But yeah, this is the spread of the Denisovans. You can see how they've come this way, come all the way over to Australia, New Zealand ways. This is where the cave is up in Altai, and the Neanderthals have come this way as well. And these guys are the Homo heidelbergensis that we talked about. So we had the structure that was found made by these guys, and they've all migrated to Europe, it seems, gone to Germany, which explains why they were found. A lot of them found in Germany. And yeah, so that's just a little thing. Is he back yet? Because I want to talk about this molar. I can hear noises.
Yes, I can hear you.
There we go. Right, so this is a 3D scan.
Sorry, I just had to run to the big man's room. I'm back yet, and I'm connected. All right, it should be good.
Yeah.
Sorry, 3D rendering and moles.
The molars we're going to get to, because that's the cool stuff that we really want to talk about, and then we'll get to the fossils as well. The render of the cave system, so you can see where they were. We talked about that. This is a distribution of the Neanderthals, so you can see where these guys have been found. So this is whereabouts the Neanderthals were. For your benefit, I'll show you the... my apologies. I'll show you the map of how they've migrated. So you can see the Neanderthals have come up from this way, gone over to here. Humans were found in here as well. And the Homo heidelbergensis have come up from Africa and gone into Europe. Presumably, anyway, because that's... How do we know, really? But that's how they say that the migration pattern has gone. This is over hundreds of thousands of years. So, it's a lot of time for mistakes to be made. But which one were we on now? I might have to just get it back up. So, yeah, do you want to talk about the teeth? Should we talk about the teeth? Right. This is a molar found. This is the Denisovans. So this is why some people have suggested that these guys were actually giants. Some people go a bit too far. One guy has an article online talking about them being 18 foot tall, which is a possibility, but I don't necessarily agree with it. just because an 18-foot tall dude mating with a Neanderthal, like a 5'7" Neanderthal, just puts sheer horror in my eyes. But because that's something that you're going to get onto, is that there are hybrid children. So there are hybrid Neanderthal and Denisovans. So this is 2.5 times bigger than the human molar. So look at the size of that. That is monstrous, isn't it? So what do you reckon? You got to have a pretty big mouth, haven't you, to get that?
Yeah, let's talk about.
Oh, where is he going?
Teeth.
Oh, I got teeth. Let's talk about teeth. Is that what you said? Yeah, your internet's got worse since you switched over, man. It was better on the other one.
Yeah. Well, we have those skills.
What is he even saying? Switch back to your Musk internet. Can he hear us, or is he?
Oh.
Is he just pretending?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's gone. There we go. Right. Okay, I'll just talk. So this is the Denisovan skull. You can see it's quite a bit bigger. But then as well, you got to talk about the fact that Neanderthal skull actually looks bigger. Yet those guys were smaller than us. I've seen some suggestions that one of these Denisovans had a brain size of like 1800 cc. So a human, I think, is on average something like 1200, for example. So they have quite a bigger brain space. Whether or not that meant that they were more intelligent, you can be the judge of that. As you can see, they've got this elongated skull that we obviously see a lot with the aliens and stuff. These bodies that will be presented at Mexico ufologist events.
Yeah, right. That's
and the same with Neanderthal,
isn't it? Yeah. The brain cavity is getting smaller.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm not 100, but age-wise, I'm not sure which one came first. I think it's probable that Denisovans came before us, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't think anyone really is.
See, this is the thing. They talk about all this interbreeding and stuff, but I mean, it could have been, genetic modification too, right? Like these could all be.
I think on average, every human has something like 2% Neanderthal genetics. Yayan was telling me something about this. Although I think there's supposed to be some people that just don't have it at all. So they managed to avoid the giant Neanderthal orgy that apparently went on in history.
And this is the R negative and positive, right? Like we've got, this is, I'm going to get into this too, but with humans, like
Is he gone? Right. Remember what you last heard. What was it? With humans. So, with humans. We'll get up another picture of the two.
Oh my God.
There you go. He's back. Right. Yeah. With humans. Carry on.
Yeah. So 4 different blood groups, rhesus positive and negative, which what they tell us that means is some people are related to the rhesus monkey, some are not. Hairlines, right? All these different hairlines that we have, male pattern baldness. What is that? So it looks like we're a mishmash. I mean, it kind of looks like we're a bit of a mishmash, right? Like as far as humans, we've got bits of all these other beings in us. And I'm not sure that could all be explained with interbreeding, especially when you look at the R positive, and ladies will literally reject their babies if it's the wrong blood type. So, I mean, it does look like genetic modification, like when you look through the modern eyes. But, of course, we can't think that because they weren't supposed to have any technology back then, which we know is crap, right? But anyway,
well, I mean, it's the level of technology. I think it's very, very likely that we've obviously got to a certain level of like living standards before events like cataclysms have happened and put us back. I think these random resets, because stone tools and stuff appearing 500,000 years ago, that just suggests we've got to a certain point and then we've not really advanced for quite a while, and then suddenly we have.
So they tell us, I mean, I've got something. You keep going, but I've got something interesting I'll show. I haven't showed it yet, but
you're cutting out a little bit, so you get that up and
bloody.
So I've got.
Give me internet.
Right, don't worry. I've got a couple more pictures to show from this one, and then yeah. So this is the Denisovans. They say that the height, I think, on average, they are officially 5'9". The tallest one we found, they guessed to 5'11". But you know, this is based on literally like tiny bone fragments. They find a tiny piece of a finger, and they're like, this guy was 5'11". So you could say that
Yeah,
it's,
exactly
you know,
right. Yeah, it's like Lucy.
but
You know, the missing link, man. Lucy, they found, what did they find? I don't know. It was like 7 or so bone fragments, but they were spread over like a 2 square kilometer area.
wow.
Yeah,
That dude
so
must have had a really bad day.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, what the hell do you get
But,
hit by for that to happen? But
yeah, man, pack of hyenas. Let me just, I'll just show, because just before I forget, but I'll show you
go
quickly
on,
this.
you can steal the screen. Go on, then we'll come
I'll
back.
steal the screen. Let me know if it works. Where am
At the
I?
moment, we're still seeing mine, but
Can you see mine now? So this is all in Spanish. So I haven't basically decode what are they called, translated it yet. But this picture here, these are petroglyphs that they've found. This is like a mountain or a hill. These big, and these are quite large. And they've looked into these, and what they have discovered is that they look very similar to zygotes, right? To to embryos. But the thing is these first, I think it's 3, are actually reptiles. This is how reptile cell division happens, and then it suddenly turns into a mammal. So, and it shows all the different, these are all the actual microscopic shots of the actual zygotes.
You're trying to say that we're lizard people?
Well, I'm just saying it's interesting that this is what they've found. I mean, it looks like genetic engineering to me. Like, and this, it also looks a lot like the Michael Tellinger stone circles that he finds. So I don't know if it, but just thought I'd throw that in there. It's a new discovery, and that's what they're saying is they've got these pictures and these, it's found here in the Middle East, that looks like it's genetic engineering. Like,
wow.
Like they've, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's what the past kind of looks like to me, like with all these different things that they try and explain away through, you know.
Now he just looks really disgusted with something. Look, like he's seen something that's just, ugh, and he hates it. He'll be back. Don't worry.
I'm
there we
God,
go.
Man. This is so bad. I'm sorry for everyone in chat. I'm trying. I thought I had, and Luke said, "Are we going to do this? Just make sure your internet's good." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, it's fine." Clearly,
that's what happens when you live in the dome and not the globe. But has he gone again? Look, now he looks like he's really happy with the same thing. It's changed. It's been better, and now he's happy. But yeah, also Julie, I'm not a kid, you know. I'm 29, Julie. In the comments.
But, what did Julie say? What'd she say?
Said, she called me a kid.
A kid?
Like,
you are a kid, mate. You are a kid.
Yeah.
You're not even 30, actually, mate. You're a baby.
No, next year, 30. But this is actually what happens when you just drink baby blood constantly.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You don't age, yeah, okay. Part of an elite family, of course. Illuminati confirmed.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. We know about you.
I'd be terrible because I've got such a big mouth. I genuinely would announce it. I'd be like, "Hey guys, guess what? I'm in like a secret elite group."
It's cool, man. We have all these mask parties and woohoo.
No, for real, man. I'd come down. I'd be like, you know, the whole Noah story. I'd come down and be like, "Yo, guys, my dad's planning to kill you all, so you should get a boat."
Yeah, man.
But yeah, do you want to give me the screen back and we'll talk about what we were talking about. So yeah,
pushy young people. God,
I know, right? Oh yeah, screen's there. So the Denisovans, like I said before, they're officially on average 5'9". The tallest that they've worked out is apparently 5'11". Obviously a male. this doesn't rule out, obviously, taller people. Could just be a small, selection of people. Maybe the taller ones don't live in the caves. Maybe they hit their head a bit too much and they move outside. You don't know.
Is that what it was? Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's like a
The
good
head
point
bump
that people
theory.
bring up is if let's say that if humans all got killed now, and let's say, I don't know, an NBA player was the one that was fossilized, and then in the future, tiny humans dig up this huge body and they go, wow, these humans are like 8 foot,
Yeah, right. That's interesting. They just find a basketball team. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Or, the alternative, or you find like just a dude with dwarfism and they're like, whoa, humans used to be tiny, Well,
I mean, that's another point. Look at the range of humans today, right? Literally from, dwarfs to over 7 foot. That's a big variance.
Well, as well, though, one thing I brought up to Yayan when I was discussing this is like we see when people get really, really tall, to the super end. Like obviously, we've got heavyweight boxers that they're tall and they still manage to maintain that muscle mass.
Well,
but when you get to like the world's tallest people, you see this elongation of their limbs. Where they're just
they're the thyroid giants. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just super stretched out, and you just think like, Jesus Christ, anything if he falls over, he's going to snap.
Yeah, well, Robert Waldo, he was over 9 foot, wasn't he? 9'3", I think. And he had to he was using a walking cane before he was 20, and I think he only made it to didn't make it to 30. But that's a thyroid thing that stops the regulation of the human growth hormones, and so things just keep growing and growing, and they don't actually have the strength to support themselves. But then we have like Andre the Giant, right? Who was clearly, he was not like that. He was not a skinny fellow, old Andre.
No, and this is the thing. I reckon the Denisovans, if I was to imagine it based purely like off my own bias, is I reckon that they would have probably been extremely beefy, looking more like a gorilla in their muscle mass. Kind of, just absolute units, not necessarily much taller, and if anything, probably about the same height as humans, but for some reason, just a lot chunkier, a lot thicker. But I guess we won't really know, because I think there's a chance that these guys we're going to talk about this are connected to the mound builders, because one thing we've got to talk about is the fact that this Stone Age didn't just produce people that were building stone structures. They were building stone structures that we would struggle to build today. I'm talking absolutely gigantic stone structures, cairns and stuff that are like, for example, think about Stonehenge, right? The size of those blocks that were placed there. Not only were they placed there, they were actually dragged from the middle of Wales. They were dragged hundreds of miles, picked up off the top of these hills. Yeah, it's from the Preseli Hills. And for example, in 1950-ish, I think they decided that they wanted to move some of these stones down. Well, yeah, they did. They rebuilt it, and they decided they wanted to bring some of these stones down, and they didn't actually end up doing it until, I want to say, the 90s. And when they brought 2 stones from the Preseli Hills, they wanted to grab them from Preseli Hills, or there were 2 there, and they wanted to get 1, and take it to Stonehenge. They actually had to fly them down with military helicopters, Chinook helicopters. They had to go up to the top of the mountain, pick up these stones, carry them down, and then put them on the back of trucks and have trucks drive them all the way to Stonehenge. And you think, how the hell did these ancient people...
There's something else going on, because it doesn't make sense at all. It's like the dude who they tried to float like a block down the Nile on like one of the Egyptian rafts. This guy did it to prove that that's how they made the pyramids. And he tried it. I think it was just like a couple of tons or 1 ton, the block. It wasn't even a big one. And it just sank the boat instantly, and the whole thing fell apart. And it didn't work. Yeah. But I mean, like this could all be, if you look at geopolymer, then that really, I mean, we have people saying that they were levitating them and stuff, but if they were just crushing them up and bringing them down in bags and then reconstituting them, maybe that's what's going on, right? But it makes a lot more sense than the other stories, I think.
Well, we will. I'll bring up some pictures of the hill fort, because I want to talk about these stones just as the final thing. But before we do, I will.
And just everyone in chat, thanks for being here. And yes, of course, this is a slightly different version of history than we normally about here, but it's all good information. This is the narrative that they tell us. So, you know, it's up to us to find the holes in it, right? And to see how true it is.
Yeah, so these are the so Denisovan fossils. They've only ever been found in this actual cave, and these are the ones. So as you can see, there's not much. So there's 6. They've identified via DNA 6 distinct individual beings that were there, and these are the 6. And 2 of them turned out to not be Denisovans. One is a Denisovan Neanderthal hybrid, and the other is a Neanderthal. So that means there was 4 pure Denisovans found, and as you can see, the ages that they were found at are different. So we've got one over 100,000 years old based on the sediment, one around 90,000 years old. This one says disputed, so I'm not sure why, but it's 30 to 50,000 years old. This is 30 to 50, this is 30 to 50, and this doesn't have an age. So these guys, it makes sense that they were living around about the same time, because obviously we've got hybrids and stuff. But it is interesting that the hybrid seems to be much older. You know, so how long has the hybridization gone on? How many times have they intermingled? You'd think by that point they would have become one race, you know, after like 40,000 years of sharing the same cave. But
well, exactly right.
This is what was actually found. So a molar there, a molar here, another molar. So it's 3 molars, 1 long bone fragment, a toe phalanx, and a finger phalanx. So we got pictures of I'm on the wrong monitor, that's why. So I've got pictures of the.
That's a good point, because when we hear all these stories of they found all these people, and you get this image like they found full skeletons, but most of the time, it's like a bone fragment or a tooth, and that's it. And the whole, you know, they reconstruct the whole body off the tooth, right? Like how?
Exactly, and that's where the narrative comes in, because whatever they want. So, for example, if I wanted to, I could say, right, 2.5 times the size of the human molar. Therefore, this guy's head was 2.5 times the size of a human, and therefore his body was 2.5 times the size of the human. You know, and you could sit there happily and say, therefore, these things were 15 foot tall. You know what I mean? Just because I've decided that's and that's
they also
not how it works.
Yeah, they also say this looks like a human molar, so it's clearly from a humanoid creature, right? But we know that once nature works out something that works, it uses it over and over again, right? Like fangs of like cats and you know, dogs are pretty similar, right?
Exactly. So again, for people that maybe didn't see it, this is the Denisovan molar, and this is the human molar, and this is 2.5 times the size of the human. So if they have all the same teeth as us, this jaw is going to be a lot bigger, isn't it? It's going to be a lot bigger than the human jaw. Just think about that. You could fit 2 of your teeth to every one. So these guys must have had either really bad dental issues, maybe a massive jaw sticking out, I don't know. Maybe they look like the Crimson Chin, or maybe they were just enlarged humans, literally. But I mean, even the teeth themselves, I think they look a lot more animalistic. It looks like it's been pulled from a gorilla. You know, if you were to look at that tooth, I think gorilla, or maybe, not sure. But yeah, it's actually some kind of ancestor to us, which is, or cousin really. But yeah. We would have definitely mated with these guys. These guys mated with the Neanderthals, and we mated with the Neanderthals. So presumably Denisovans also mated with modern humans. So,
but I mean, then we got the question: size difference, right? How does that work?
What was that? Sorry, you cut out. What did you say?
Sorry, the size difference. Clearly, the teeth size are different. So if these is it the Denisovans are twice the size of humans, then how was that mating going on? Come on.
Exactly. Yeah, it's quite a horrid image in your head, doesn't it?
But genetic engineering, it makes sense, right?
Yeah. So this is a replica, by the way, of the actual tooth.
Of course, it's a replica. Come on.
Well, to be fair to them on this one, the reason they're replicas is because they had to destroy parts of the originals to get at the DNA inside of the bone. So to get the DNA and actually sequence it and have a look, they do have to destroy it. So they took molds first and made replicas. This is the finger phalanx. So you can see it. It's unfortunate they don't give us a
What?
human hand next to it to
That's
give us
the bit.
a size reference.
That's what they found, and they're calling that.
Yeah.
Man, that looks like a pottery bead. That could be.
Well,
like,
it's definitely
so
Denisovan. They took it
saying
apart and they found
DNA.
DNA.
Yeah, so
they found DNA in it.
testing. Yeah.
It's definitely like belongs. It's definitely a bone. Well, that
Now,
isn't. It's a reptile, but it's
that's
definitely
another
a bone.
interesting point, right? Like, if this is DNA, how do they DNA test things that aren't humans? Like Denisovans and things like that. They don't have the gene sequence for that, do they? So how can they say, well, we DNA tested it and it's a Denisovan? Like what? Like,
well, presumably it would have had something like 98% human DNA and then just some changes here or there. So they go, oh well, it looks human, on paper, but it's not really. I'm not, again, DNA isn't my area. But let's see, was there anything else I wanted to bring up about this? So no, I think that was everything. So the 3 teeth, by the way, they're from 3 different individuals, obviously. The phalanx, I think it's the finger phalanx. So this phalanx we were looking at is actually from a juvenile female. So this is a young girl's finger. So a dude's, a grown adult male could have a much bigger phalanx. I don't know. And then don't have any images of the other stuff. So what we'll look at then,
from a young female? Do you know that? Or
I don't know how they know that. No, I presume again that might be a DNA.
DNA age. Anyway, based on size.
You know what? I'll leave you some homework, right? I want you to answer that question. We need to get
someone on.
Like,
we need to get an anthropologist on or something and harass them.
They're right. And they'll probably just think we're idiots. We're just there like, so how does this work?
You guys have asked too many questions. I'm leaving.
So we're going to talk about the hill forts, because hill forts were around a lot longer than we're told. So sometimes these hill forts are again aged just at the Iron Age, and other times we can date them to, which I guess is still Iron Age, but around 2200 BC. Some of these cairns, but then you get things like Stonehenge where they actually say, looking at up to 10,000 years old or something. There's this kind of this confusion about when these things were built. But either way, we'll start off by having a look just at this hill fort distribution. So across the UK, we have a lot of hill forts going on. As you can see, they're bloody everywhere. And these things were mainly built by people before the Romans, obviously, and before even probably Brutus and the kind of 500 BC migrations. These guys would have possibly been the ones that were referred to as the giants, or the Gigantus, by Brutus. When they arrived in Britain, they said that Britain was originally inhabited by giants. So it kind of makes you wonder when you see the size of some of these things. So if we were to go to BBC, or if you were to look up a hill fort, you'll probably get shown something like this, a nice little cartoon, which it's still quite impressive, the earthwork that they've put into it, but it doesn't really do these things justice. So here's another example of that. It's for a man-made thing, that's still very impressive, right? I mean, what do you think to that?
I'm impressed.
Yeah, so these things would have been, good few thousand years old. Not all of them, some would be more recent. But one thing that they do, when you see the English ones, you see them on this flat ground, like, because obviously England could be very flat. And you see things like this is getting a bit more hilly. So when you think these guys in the Stone Age, the Iron Age, not Stone Age, they started moving all these stones and this earth to create these shapes on the top of hills. Now, it doesn't get much attention, but that's quite megalithic. And we'll have a look now at Caer Caradoc. Now, this is one we went up. We went up when we went to Wales, because this is a real hill fort. Now, this is an aerial view of, and I'll just go through all the pictures of what this looks like. So this is an aerial view here of the top of this hill fort, and it's literally on a mountain. So I'll show you a view from a side, so you can see this is the one here at the top. It's about 450 meters, or 469, I think, tall. No, 459. There we go. So you can see this up here. We walked up this, and it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. I wouldn't recommend it. Wouldn't wish it upon an enemy to walk up this. And that's what you'd have to do if you wanted to get to the top. So bearing in mind that thousands of years ago, people moved these rocks up there. So I'll show you the rocks in a sec. We'll just get a view again of the top so you can see the way that this has been built by Neolithic people. You're still with me, Cam, or have you gone?
I'm still here. Neolithic, that means
right. Yeah.
Stone Age, basically, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I think these things are Stone Age. They're older than the Iron Age anyway. So you can again see this view. This is a beautiful view of how these things have been worked. And it's at the top of a literal mountain. This is not easy to get up. I mean, if you've got horses, yeah, bit of a nicer job. But what you're going to see up here is from this view. So what I'll do actually is I'll keep up this image so you can think, because that just looks like Earth, but we'll get up a close-up image here so you can compare. These stones and stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, are they excavated? Are they actually just like constructions that have been covered in dirt?
Well, this is the thing. They've dragged massive stones up there. Some of these stones aren't just found at the top. Like some will be, but they actually drag these stones from the bottom, like this stuff, right?
How?
You wouldn't believe some of the ones. Yeah, exactly. How indeed, mate. How indeed. This is the question. It's absolutely insane. I mean, just the earthwork in itself. Just to think at the top of this mountain, getting people dragging all this stuff.
They drag them up because they're finding them like down on the side, kind of like on the hillside, are they? Is that right?
Well, this is the mad thing. So hill forts themselves, yeah, they're supposed to be hill forts, but they're not actually like castles, right? Castles, the reason a castle works usually is because you're oppressing the people that you build. So you take over somewhere, or if you're the ruler, you build a castle so that people know that you're in charge. And if they want to kill you, they're going to have to come through the castle. In an actual war, a castle's really bad because the enemy will, come up to the castle. You'll be inside like, come and get us. And the enemy will just stand outside like, no, I think we'll wait here. And then
and starve you out. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. And you go, shit, wait, how many provisions do we have? We go about 2 months worth before it all goes off. And they go, bollocks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and they used to fling dead animals in there as well to create disease and all types of stuff, man.
Oh, well, yeah, exactly. The Mongols, they used to fire from catapults bodies that had the plague. And then they just sit there like, let's just give that 10 minutes. Yeah, so with stuff like this is the absolutely insane thing. They wouldn't actually use it as a defense because, again, if you're up here, if you say you see the enemy come in and you see them in the distance, and you get all your men up here, and they're down there where all the villages are, right? They're just going to run through, pillaging, taking all the stuff, and then they'll keep going, and you'll just be up here going, huh? Okay, then guess they didn't want the fight. So what they'd actually do is they'd send all their cattle and their women and the people that couldn't fight, the women and the children and the cattle, they'd send them up here and they'd say, go wait at the top of the mountain, because they'd want to move the food, because obviously an army's coming in and it needs food all the time. So they'll slaughter all the food that they find on the way, all the farms and stuff. Yeah, they'll kill all the livestock. So you want to grab all the cows and stuff and the sheep, send them to the top of this hill. So they all take it up to the top of the hill, and with the women and the children, and then the men, they'll go down to the ground and they'll wait and challenge them to a battle here. And then as well, you'd have your horsemen up here, and the horsemen can ride down and flank the enemy. And that's kind of what you do. You'd have, in bigger battles, they'd have multiple hill forts, and each hill fort would basically be like a mini base for the horsemen. They'd run up here, have a quick break, run down, attack someone, come back up here, and the enemy would hate it because it'd be a nightmare for them to walk up.
And so are they trying to say that the actual structure is just the mound of dirt, and that's its purpose? Like they're not saying it's a fort that's been covered in dirt, are they? They're saying the structure is they've just made a big hill that they can stand on when they get attacked, kind of thing.
Yeah, essentially they've gone to the top of a hill and they've taken lots of dirt with them. They've dragged up dirt and rocks, and they've built these terraces to reinforce the top of the hill just in case it gets to the point. But like I said, if you've gone up there, the enemy don't need to come up and get you. So it's a last ditch, basically.
And it's also how how long do these things take to build? You know, with their narrative and the level of tech that we're told. I mean, you're talking at least probably hundreds of years, right? So why didn't everyone get slaughtered on the way through when they were building, or did they just have a truce and hang on, guys, we're just going to build our fort, so just hang off for a few generations and then come back, you know?
And these things would have been really difficult. Well, I've talked before. I'm just going to move my mic because I need to find a cable. But yeah, I've talked before about these things possibly being more than this, because what you'll find with a lot of these places, a lot of these hill forts, is that they have these natural rivers, but they're not natural. These natural tributaries coming off them and going down to fill the rivers down below. So I think that the ancients worked this one out. They realized, like, at the top of the hill, they've got all this water dripping onto the mountain, and it's just soaking into all the grass and the dirt on the mountain, and it's not very useful because, you know, have you ever been at the bottom of a hill where you're dry, but it's all windy and rainy at the top of the hill? Go to Wales if you haven't. But they realized that. They were like, well, there's no water down here, but there's a fuck ton up there, and it trickles down into the streams. So they went to the top, in my opinion. They built these stone basins, which allowed the water to basically, if you think of this, what we're looking at now, the water will soak through. If there's stone underneath that, it will soak through into the stone, and then it will flow down through the channels that you decide. You could build a channel, and then you've just created basically a water catcher. That
Well, we see that everywhere, and a lot of them seem to run down and then take on canals, and I mean there's definitely a massive water structure, you know, water infrastructure, including tunnels and stuff. That, I mean, what about LiDAR, man? We've got LiDAR. Why aren't they LiDAring all this stuff? And there's clearly something.
Yeah, in fact, actually, you know, Britain, there's a website I can.
There is one in Britain. Yeah, there's nothing in Australia that I've been able to find. I'm spewing. But
yeah, so you can actually do a LiDAR with stuff like this, but it doesn't penetrate that deep. Sorry,
and it's also not everywhere. Because Paul Cook was showing it a while back, and he'd go to like places, and where he wanted to look was just no LiDAR. They'd sort of show around the outside of it, and it's like, oh, okay.
There we go. Right, sorry, my mouse ran out of battery, so I had to plug it in. But yeah, so I'll move on to the next pictures. So you can see more of, you know, and like I said, this thing is at the top of a hill. It took, when we walked up there, I know I'm not exactly a healthy Stone Age man, but I'm not kidding. It was a nightmare.
You're a healthy Stone man.
If somebody told me that I had to lug fucking stones up here and build walls and stuff, you know, stone walls around the top, I would just think, you know, I'd go over to the rest of the group and I'd be like, hey guys, I think Tim's a bit of a bad ruler. Should we kill him? You know,
man, he's up his rocker. And this is the story for everything, including the pyramids, right? It's, if you've got enough people and enough time, you can do anything, man. They'll just haul bricks and sacks of sand forever. You know, like, where was the food source? Where were they all getting fed? Where were the toilets?
Well, yeah, again, look, I mean, look at the size of this place, and to think, you know, when you go to that view that I showed you, when you see the top of it, you don't get the size. That's the wrong one.
Whoa, that is. So that whole mound.
This one here is the.
And they built that whole thing.
Yeah, they built this whole thing at the top, and look, like a person is, you know, you're small over here. And this is only one section of it. This is only one section. Like I said, where were we up to? Let's try there. Let's see this, all right? And you can see this is part of one of the walls that we were just looking at. And the paths go all the way around. And this is connected to even more hills. So each hill would have had one of these at the top. And
I want to see what's underneath it. It just looks like a covered up megalithic structure, doesn't it?
Well, if you want to see megalithic structures, now this is the real one. So we come to this place called Cambell, which is at the top of the Preseli Hills, which is actually where the Stonehenge stones come from. So all the Stonehenge stones, I'm not sure if it's all of them, but definitely the blue stones from Stonehenge are brought all the way from Wales. So if you want to look this up for yourself, just go on Google Maps, type in Stonehenge as point A, and go to point B and type Preseli Hills in Wales, and you can see how far these Stone Age people had to lug gigantic blocks. I mean, imagine if you got halfway and it broke and it took you another 2 months to walk home, and they're like, well, where's the stone? You know, dropped it, didn't I?
Exactly.
So
it's a silly story, right?
I'll bring up the video. There we go.
Oh, is this Loki? Loki in the wild?
Yeah. So you can't see it, but it's through
Holy
the mist.
crap, man! What is it? You look like you're in Antarctica. What is this place?
It's the top of a mountain, basically, the Priscilla Hills.
It looks very cold.
It was very, very wet. I will tell you that. So let's get this one up. This is man-made.
That looks wow, man! Look at all that rock.
This is a cairn. This is a burial place. And the wind was so terrible. But yeah, this is a burial place for the old humans. This thing.
Why is it a burial? Like, why are they saying it's a burial place?
Well, because it's a cairn. That's just what they were. They were burial tombs apparently. There's they
Like
never actually
rocks.
excavated any. Yeah. They were put on top of.
Right. I mean,
people.
That looks like a structure's been hit and exploded, right?
Yeah, you'll see some rocks that really look like that.
Would be under there as well.
Well, I climb up to the top and I'll give you a view of this, but it was literally so dangerous just walking around the top of this thing. So all the rocks, they're just piled on top of each other, and the wind and the rain was killer. But fortunately, once you got on this side, you were protected from the wind.
And with geology, they tell us rocks shouldn't be on the tops of mountains, right? Like all the weathering, and they all roll down and they get broken up. So.
Yeah, and look at this. So here's a slow video of these. This is they're kind of like these dishes, you see.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's almost like they've taken bodies out or something.
Or there was hollows underneath it. Look at that one, man. What the?
Look at that.
See, that's man. Look at that top. Or is that just cracked? That top one.
I mean, there's cracks, but there's also
too many right angles.
Way more. Yeah. Don't you see? Yeah, look, we'll see more stonework. We'll see more stonework. You can clearly see that some of this stuff has been worked. I mean, if they've built it, why wouldn't they have worked it? The idea that they were just grabbing stones. If only this was a bit more shaped. But,
I just dragged it 2,000 miles and it's a wrong shape.
Yeah, exactly. But the size of this thing, the videos and the pictures just don't do it justice. You have to see it in person. It's a monstrosity. It's enormous.
It just looks like an explosion, doesn't it? Look at all the square bricks everywhere, all the square rocks. It's just.
And then as well, the wind. As soon as you come around the side of this, you're just getting pelted. As soon as you get around there, it was gorgeous. Though, really, it was beautiful.
I mean, why would they build there then if the weather's it's so bad?
Oh yeah, it would have been. It was at the top of a mountain, It's like literally, it would have been a nightmare to get all these together.
Factors out of nowhere.
Wouldn't have been able to grow crops up there. So maybe it's from a time when the climate was different there, right?
I've got so many videos of this. I'll put some more together if you want for our next episode, because I've got so many of these that are just sat here waiting for me to make a video with them. Go on, what do you say? I want to get my quote because you'll understand in a second. But did you say something then? Is he gone? Have we lost him?
No, I'm back. We lost me a bit. Right. What's this place called again?
This is called Cairn Bica, Cairn Bica, like
Bica.
Cairn. Yeah. So anyway,
so Cairn is the word that they've given to like these hill mound fort things.
Yeah, a cairn is like a tomb. Yeah, a cairn is like a tomb or a dolmen. So dolmens are the ones. In fact, so I've got pictures that I'll bring up as well of the dolmens that we've seen, so you can see the size of the dolmens. But carry on.
I was just going to say we've got a town in Queensland called Cairns.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They were probably where the Cairns were, mate.
Yeah, exactly. I'll have to have a look around.
Oh, have we lost him again? Is he gone? No, is he back? I don't know. Right, I'll find some more pictures as well for. Oh no, it was me. It was me that went. It was me.
Oh,
My
was it?
headphones. There we go.
I'm back. Hello.
Are you back?
And hello to everyone in chat. Thank you all for being
Right.
here. Hope you're enjoying the show.
What's that?
Are you there again, or are you just grunting?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you can hear me. I can't hear you for a sec because I'm just trying to get headphones to work. For some reason, they disconnect.
All right.
Saying they're on full battery, so I don't know what the issue is. But
There's lots of people saying it's giants, hearts.
I'll
Reminds me of Pumapunku. Yeah, I mean, it is reminiscent of what we see in South America. Lots of destruction. I'm a geologist, and I can prove that is mining waste. Oh, Robin Hood. There you go, mining waste. That's another theory, is, you know, the mine pit earth. Oh, and Hippie says, are you in Wales too, Hippie? It rains 3/4 of the year. It does the same here. But where I am, the rain is in summer. Like, we're just getting out of winter, and we've had rain for like 3 months almost in winter.
So we had some wild horses up here, by the way, that these guys were the protectors of the realm. They wouldn't let us get any closer to some of these. But so this block here has a 90-degree angle on it that was really hard to see from that video, but unfortunately the horses are in the way. But we do have some. Sorry. Yeah, the first time I've ever met wild horses anyway, so that was me.
I met some the other day, man. They're cool, right?
Here you go. So have a look at some of these. Right. It is very hard to see in the pictures, I think, sometimes, but you can see where they have actually fashioned these stones to sit together.
Really? Unless they just found that quarry that was already, you know, like full of pre-cut square blocks. But
well, exactly, yeah. And like I say, these are what they were taking. Look at that. Look, and this is what they were taking to, you know, to Stonehenge, dragging them to Stonehenge. So there must be a reason why they wanted these stones. Look at
dragging them.
Look at that. I mean, I think this as well. This looks like it could be a corner piece of a wall or something.
Yeah, for sure. Interlocking, yeah.
And the size, by the way, you can't tell, but this is, if I was to stand by this, I'd be up to about here, height-wise. I'm not kidding. This thing's monstrous. Like, it is very, very difficult. Has my headphone turned off again? I feel like it has.
All right. We are getting through this. Right, no thanks to Elon Musk. It also, I mean, just from that angle.
Oh, wait, like no, it is working.
Too, doesn't it? It's like a bit of a beastie toe. But okay, so what they want us to believe is this was made by people literally dragging these rocks up a hill and just placing them willy-nilly. Like, they finally get them to the top, and they're like, where do I put it, boss? Is just chuck it anywhere, mate. And
like I say, so you can't tell how big they are, but here's me. This is some of the smaller ones on the outside. That's absolutely huge. So you saw Yayan at the top of that. So that's the actual cairn there that we walked to. But this one, I want to emphasize how big this. I mean, look at this. Look at the curvature on this. Yeah. You could obviously say that it's erosion from the rain, but
it just eroded that little bit there, don't you know? All the rest of the corners, they stayed square.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. This one is, like I say, it's massive, absolutely monstrous. So when we were there looking at it, this picture doesn't do it justice, because it could be small. Like, say, if you're stood next to that right now, it's megalithic compared to you. You'll be feeling like, Jesus Christ, if this thing fell, you're goners. You know, it's massive. To think that they even move these things is ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, geopolymer, like I said, is a good theory for it. Or high tech, right?
The official narrative is that, humans did this. You know what I mean? They can't deny it. They're like, humans did do it. And you're like, how? It's right. You know, 3,000 years ago, we knew how to lift back then. You know what I mean? We could lift 3,000 years ago, and you just can't do it.
Yeah, man. That's where, like, the first gym was, didn't you know? That's where the bodybuilders used to hang out.
Maybe that was actually it. Maybe a really wise leader was like, I've come up with a game. You must lift a stone to the top of the hill. And then, dudes do it. And then when they get to the top, he's like, just put it on top of that one, please, mate. Nice one. Well done.
Well done. Now you've got big muscles. Go down and do it again.
Yeah, literally. But these things, like I say, the pictures don't do it justice to the absolute size. You saw the video when I was here. This is massive.
It's just silly. I mean, because humans aren't really made, to do heavy work like this. We're not that robust when we compare ourselves to other animals, right? Like gorillas, even chimpanzees, man. A chimpanzee would destroy a human, and they're like half our size.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I mean, though. So was this possibly constructed by big, beefy Denisovans or something? I don't know.
Well, even if it was, they were still doing something rather than just dragging stones up a hill. Because I mean, it's just
maybe they really were just like gorilla hench, and they could just do this. I don't know. But yeah, some of them. I mean, you can see next to the horses, how the horses give a view. These are full-size horses next to the size of these rocks. Look at stuff like this.
Yeah, looks like it remains of a wall or something. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Look at this one. Look how squared off that looks. That was the one I was videoing from this side that I couldn't get any closer.
Yeah.
I love how they all face. By the way, the horses all facing away from the rain. They're not dumb.
They're not dumb.
Nah, facing away from that shit.
How cool, man. Wild horses.
Yeah, and then there is, like I said, there was one thing I wanted to get up to show you is the dolmens. Let me try and find where Pentra iPhone. Here we go. This will be the dolmens. So this one again, a couple thousand years old. Tell me how the fuck they did this.
Ah, yes, these ones, man, and these are absolutely everywhere. Dolmens.
Oh, trust. I mean, someone built a mini one nearby. So this is what a human did nearby. This is like the size of up to your ankle. Like,
is it that small? Is it tiny?
No, okay. that one's. You can see this one's tiny. Look at the grass. But
these are the grass.
Yeah, and this is the big one, as you can see. Sheep.
And I mean,
look at that.
It's a precise thing because that top rock is balanced. It has to be perfectly balanced on those 3 points.
Yep. It's absolutely like I was sat there with tiny rocks trying to do it. I was like, how the fuck do these guys?
Yeah, well, it's like with the like the balancing stones and things. Those.
Oh, I think he's disappeared for a second. He'll be back. He always is. Come on, Cam. You can do it. But anyway, all right, we'll just look at small photos.
Now I'm back again.
There he is.
The story for balancing rocks, like that, is that they all came down on glaciers, and then as the glaciers melted, they just happened to stand up perfectly and balance.
Well,
that's the story.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've heard about. Yeah, is that the gigantic one? Sorry, that was balancing. Just
there's quite a few, and they give the same story for them all, as far as I know. That. They all came down in the Ice Age on glaciers, but there's some massive ones, like 10-ton rocks, balancing on this little point. It's ridiculous.
Well, literally, yeah. Some of this stuff that's the. Let me move through these photos. We can see, but again, this one when we saw this, which is how the hell did they do this? And then around the corner we had some really interesting slate that just looks so like wood, doesn't it?
Yeah, man.
Like I find it really does. It was, yeah. Well, I don't know how I feel about petrified trees, but there I am chilling by the fire because we stayed in this. It was fucking awful, but we managed it because we were staying in the field right next to there I am right next to this thing. I don't know why I'm doing like a dead. Like a mum taking a photo of a kid playing football. That's what I look like there. Do you not get that? Look, looks like I'm pregnant with the next one. Anyway, so yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Did you catch any of that? Yeah.
I didn't. No. Elon's bloody censoring me.
No, I was just going about how I look like a fat mum taking a picture of a kid like playing football, and I'm like pregnant with the next one or something.
Oh my god! What the hell's going on there, mate? You've been drinking a few too many beers.
It's not actually my stomach. I'm
yeah, come on.
Hoodie. Oh yeah. Anyway, I'm seeing if I've got any more cool photos to
I was
show you
wondering
guys.
about hoodies the other day, because you do, right? Do you think that when they invented the hoodie that it would just have the hood, or did it have like the onesie pocket as well?
What? Sorry? I think we've lost him. Yeah. Okay. We'll wait for him to get back.
Hello. Did you get
Hello,
that?
welcome back. No, I
Hoodies.
missed it. I heard something about hoodies.
Hoodies. Do you reckon that the person who invented the hoodie invented a jumper with just the hood? Or do you think that the pocket was part of the first hoodie? Or did that come later?
Oh, you mean like was the pocket a later addition to the hoodie? Do you think people were wearing hoodies and they kept just doing that with their hands and going like,
oh my God, I'm just going to give up. Bloody hell.
But yeah, this image is quite cool. I think I've shown it you before.
Who's that fat lady in the front, in the foreground? Oh, sorry, that's you. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, just me. And yeah, this is the cross on the wall. So this wall here is fake, as in it's a cave that's been sealed up, and this has been carved. So this is the real rock face, and there you can see it turns to like little pieces. Look, little pieces. Yeah. And it's got a cross. The cross isn't just carved onto the rock face, but it actually comes into the pieces. So they carved the pieces as well to match the cross. Look at that. Absolutely.
Where's the there. Okay, I see it. Yeah, right.
Big thing on the screen. Yeah.
So
I've got another image of that that's better actually.
So what do they say that that's like a door on a cave? Is that what the narrative is, or
the narrative behind it isn't anything. The narrative is that it's a pilgrim's cross, and the pilgrims for many years walked and used to go and look at it, and they'd stand up on this ledge here and try and touch it. So there's like a footstool here that you stand on there, touch it, and people would ask for a vision of the real cross. So they'd be like, if I touch this cross, maybe. But the mythological story is that it's possibly where the cross was buried, if it still is, or it was buried because King Arthur used to carry King Arthur used to carry the cross on his battle, and he apparently did at the Battle of Mount Badon, which is in Wales. So they think that it was maybe kept here because this is very, very old, and they don't talk about. They've never looked behind it. They don't want to disturb it. You don't want to break it, but at the same time, I really want to know what's behind there. If somebody did do metal, they did metal detecting up here, and they said that they, using quite advanced like metal LiDAR detection, they found a metal box in there, or two metal boxes actually.
What?
One's about the size of a coffin. So yeah, it'd be very interesting. It's a nice story, whether there's any truth to it or not. But yeah, when it was first found in 1994, all this here had grown over it. So all you could see really was just a little bit of this cross, and then look up here. Look, as these were all covering it. So, and it was still known to the local people, but it just wasn't cared for. And a historian found it, and then he asked the Welsh government to make it a protected site so that it couldn't get damaged and stuff. And they pulled back all this, and yeah. It's pretty cool. Very, very old area, because like there's this which is found at the church nearby, which is the stone of a 9th century king, I think, called Haldar or Halsar, however you pronounce that, I don't know. But yeah, it's very, very interesting stuff. I don't know if this is the side that has the swash stickers on it, but
oh, really nice.
Yeah, well, swastikas appear on all these Celtic crosses. It's actually quite interesting. You see loads of them. See, is it
nice?
Maybe on this side?
There
you go. I think no. Yeah, there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, got our swastikas here on the. They call these Celtic crosses, but the word Celtic's just kind of, I don't know. It was first uttered in like 1714 for the British. Before then, they weren't called.
Oh, really?
But,
well, weren't they called is it Tuathuan or something like that? Yeah, I don't know, something to do with that. Elves, man, they're elves.
Elves, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I think that's everything. If you want to call that the end,
man.
You've had enough of me.
Well, we've been going. I just had a look at the time. I can't believe it, man. It's been 2 hours.
Wow, fucking hell.
2 hours of Lukey, and he only swore once until then, turning it into.
No, I think I swore a lot more. You just missed it.
I know, right? I was just not connected. So, yeah, man. Thanks everyone in chat. I've sort of been trying to see a few of the comments, but it's very hard when you're talking. But thank you for being here. 200 of you still, pretty much. Thanks for Luke. Let us know if you like that. It's pretty interesting. Bit more of the, what they try and tell us, right? The narrative and how even just looking at pictures, it just doesn't even make sense, man.
I think he's gone. We lost him right at the end. It was going so well. And now he just looks like he's received a nude that he did not ask for. And he's just disgusted and confused. Why have you sent me this? We'll wait. It'd be rude to leave now, wouldn't it?
Oh my God, am I back? Am I back? Okay. I was just saying, everyone, Ancient Historia is Luke's channel. So go across, check it out, give him a sub, like, all that kind of good stuff. And yeah, leave us a comment what you think about all this, and we'll get Lukey back for a bit more of a chat in the future as I scroll up here and try and find my cool ending. I think it's there. All right. So anything else to say there, Luke, to take us out? No? You're good.
Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and see you on my channel, hopefully.
Yes, go and check out Luke's show. Are you still, I was going to ask you, like, I know my YouTube feed is just crap at the moment. You're still putting out content? I haven't seen anything from you for a while.
I haven't made a video in ages. I just had, I was away for a while, and then, I don't know, I'm just really bad at actually doing things. So
Yeah, I know, right? I've been doing that lately. Oh, well, make some more. Everyone go across and leave comments and say, Luke, get off your butt, make some more content, buddy. What are you doing? Come on, get out in the sunshine. All right. So thank you, everyone, for spending some time with us. Stay awesome, and we will talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.
Sarı gürze ayudi, beri gürze beridi, korkusuz